Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's weekend reflections on this Sunday, the 17th of December 2023. I hope you're well wherever you are tuning into this from and that you are having a good weekend. Today, I would like to read to you from this wonderful book, a collection of Mawlana Shaykh Nazim sohbets produced in the early 2000s. This is volume 5 of the set called Liberating the Soul, a guide for spiritual growth. And I'm going to read from page 35. The sohbet is titled Doing Everything for the Sake of Allah Almighty. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Grand Sheikh Shah Naqshband was and is the main pillar of the Naqshbandi order. If he were not in our chain, this tariqah would not have come into existence. We are claiming to be in their tariqah. His Khalifa deputy, Sheikh Aluddin al-Bukhari, was asking, "O my master, how can we know if a person belongs to the most distinguished Naqshbandi order?" The Sheikh answered, "If a person is happy among a group of people with a Naqshbandi Sheikh, and he feels happy and pleased, that is enough sign that he belongs to this order. It is a good sign for anyone who comes to our association and feels peace and pleasure. Important is to believe. Through your beliefs, you may improve in heavenly ranks and stations. Unbelievers are preventing themselves from reaching heavenly stations by unbelief, but believers may reach station after station through believing." So there's an interesting point here actually about a person. How do we know if someone belongs to the Naqshbandi order? I mean, this is a question I've been asked at times as well by people who, some of them are bayat, and then they've had like the times when they don't follow the wazifa and they don't necessarily come for a while. And others who are not bayat, but they do bayat, meaning they've pledged their allegiance to the Sheikh to take from his teachings, and the Sheikh has accepted that. And there are some who are not bayat, but they actually spend time within the Naqshbandi tariqah, associating with the sheikhs or with the local deputies of the sheikhs, and regularly join the zikrs and feel happy. And it's interesting, the answer is here. I'm thinking of a particular student that I know. If a person is among a group of people with a Naqshbandi sheikh and he feels happy and pleased, that is enough sign that he belongs to this order. Important is to believe. Oh, I read that part. We have among traditions descriptions of believers. There are some special prayers or fastings or readings of zikr, and so many actions which have reached us. They are precious and acceptable in the divine presence, and Allah is recording. But in our times, believers are becoming sick. Their beliefs are becoming weak. Sickness is coming from our egos. Our egos represent absolute laziness. You can't find any creature more lazy than our ego. If a person believes in some good actions, our egos are rejecting it and saying, "For what is that?" For a scholar also saying, "From where do you get this? From the Holy Quran or from Hadith?" If it is from Hadith, trying to escape. If you ask an ostrich if it is a bird, it says, "I am a camel." If you want to load it, it says, "No, I am a bird." If you say fly, it says, no, I am a camel. Our egos also, if you want them to do something, they always want to escape because they represent laziness. And we are just created to be the servants to our Lord, Almighty Allah. A real servant asks what to do at every opportunity. More praying, fasting, reciting, making zikr, salawat. He is happy to do more and more. But in our time, people are under their egos' commands, and they are asking, from where are you taking these dhikrs and prayers? And people are also jealous and want to prevent others from doing these precious worshippings. Allah wants reasons for giving from His favors. Everyone who works for Allah to make Him pleased should be rewarded on the day of resurrection. And if a person hears about some good worship and does it, even if it is not mentioned in Hadith, Allah should reward that person on Judgment Day as if he had acted according to Hadith. You know, an important point here that Shaykh Nazim doesn't mention is that many things are ibadah. In fact, any good action, even if you feed a homeless person who has no income, and you buy them food and give them food and feed them, and you do that for the sake of Allah, this becomes an act of worship. If you help an older person carry their shopping to their door, or help them out of the taxi, or something like this, and you do this for the sake of Allah, that becomes an act of worship. If you do anything which is beneficial to human beings and beneficial to society, it is a halal thing and is beneficial, and you do that for the sake of Allah, it becomes an act of worship. So there are many things which are acts of worship, which are not mentioned specifically in the Quran or in Hadith. But that does not negate the fact that they are acts of worship. Any mentioning of the name of Allah in a good setting, in a good way, is an act of worship. Praying any blessing upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or even the previous prophets, is an act of worship. So many things, you can't list them. Allah Almighty is asking from His servants to occupy themselves more and more with His worship. Any action that is done for Allah's pleasure is worship. And we are asked to give more time for the sake of Allah. Daily for 8 hours. You may be for your Lord, and you may do more than this also. But Grand Sheikh says those 8 hours are not only for praying. This meeting is for Allah Almighty. Our egos are not happy to be here, asking to go around London. And you are coming from Germany, from America, from Italy and Spain, from East and West. And you are intending to come during Ramadan for the pleasure of Allah. From the time of your arriving home, all 24 hours, every day are written for you as acting for Allah Almighty. Londoners also, you are at work, but your hearts are related or connected. All day you are thinking of being with the Sheikh, with his association. You are asking to be with this fortunate group of people. And for you also, your names are written for the whole of Ramadan at your Lord's service. So you see, if you're at work, if you can't get out of it, but you are longing to be with your Sheikh, you are longing to be in the mosque and doing some act of worship or to do something, other good deeds, you get the reward of doing those things because you're longing for it. You genuinely, from your heart, you would prefer to be doing these other things, but due to your circumstances, you are stuck at work. There is barakah in that. Other people, they're not thinking about that. They're at work or they're in some other setting, and they are very happy, and they don't want to be, spending time with the sheikh or in a mosque or doing anything that is blessed and holy. There's a difference. With our intention, we may give our whole life for Allah, to live for Allah, and to die for Allah. That is real servanthood. You are eating, drinking, sleeping, but it is for the sake of Allah, to make your Lord happy, not for your ego. And when He is pleased with you, He may make you pleased with Him. And that is the highest happiness for a servant. Your ego is asking to be even more free from every responsibility, but you are forcing it to be a sincere servant. Allah rewards that. Our times, our days' payment for believers is excellent. Allah rewards that. Our times, our days' payment for believers is excellent. For keeping a sunnah, He gives the reward of 100 martyrs. And for obligatory worships and actions, the Prophet ﷺ kept back from saying that payment. Allah just hiding it. You should be very happy when you give your rewards, when you're given your rewards on the day of resurrection. And also we're reaching that through praying and worshipping in our hearts. And during the holy months, this is a very good opportunity for putting our hearts in the divine presence. But we must always put our heart in His divine presence. A big opportunity for practicing so that we may put our face towards Qibla and our real face towards Allah, our physical face towards Kaaba, and our real face towards Allah Almighty. That is easy during Holy Ramadan. During night times, after midnight, you may be with your Lord, even for 5 minutes. Try to be with Him. It should continue also after Ramadan. So we don't just restrict this to the holy months. This is something which we should try to do throughout the year, and then we get more blessings in our lives. He is asking you to be with Him. Allah is with us, but we are not feeling it or not trying to feel that He is with us. He is with ourselves, outside and inside. Even for some 5 minutes, try to remember that. He must be with you. If He takes you away, His power, you are going to be nothing. If He takes away His power, you're going to be nothing. We are existing through the power and blessing of God every moment. As Muslims, we don't believe that God created these heavens and the earth and rested on the seventh day. We believe that the creation is a constant creation. That your life right now is because you are animated with the spirit that God has put inside you, with the power of God that God has given you. You cannot make yourself alive. No one can. This is the miracle of life. What happens when we die? Some people, they are just asleep and they die. They may be 25 or 26. They've hardly lived anything of life. They may even be a child and just go to sleep and not wake up. What is it that makes us alive? It's not just what biology explains. There's something more, that spark of life that makes us living. And that is from Allah. When Allah takes that away and says, enough, Allah sends the angel of death, and the angel of death takes our soul away. Physically, the body might be fine. Sometimes people die. There is nothing particularly wrong with the body, nothing that they couldn't have recovered from. And they're no longer alive. What causes that? And that is a sign that life comes from the Creator. And it exists within us for as long as our Creator gives it to us. He must be with you, because if he takes away his power, you are going to be nothing. And that divine seer secret is with Aulia also. They may be with you also inside and outside. Remember that they may be with you. Grand Sheikh must be with you, outwardly and inwardly. Otherwise, you can't establish your station without them. During this holy month, it is easy when you are with your Grand Sheikh. Sorry, I'm reading. Was in Ramadan. Be careful on that point. Try to occupy yourself more all the time with Allah and His service. Try to do everything for the sake of Allah and His Sayyidina Muhammad Sallallahu for His honor. If you do something for your family, make them happy for the sake of Allah. And wives may make their husbands happy for the sake of Allah. And it should be easy, not cutting their relationship. In everything, you may do your best for everyone, to make everyone happy for the sake of Allah. And they should be happy, and you also. Thank you for joining us today for that weekend reflections. Apologies, I couldn't do it on Friday because Friday I was in Cambridge and in London, so it couldn't be done. Hopefully see you tomorrow. I'll be doing my sohbet and Sufi meditation in Birmingham. This will be the last one before the breakup for the Christmas holidays. I'll probably do the other one from home, but we'll see how that works out in practice. Okay, thank you for joining us. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And the peace and blessings with you all.